Madame Gazelle was teaching Peppa and her friends the alphabet. Peppa loved school, but she really wished they could have a proper school building. Madame Gazelle began. "What word begins with A?" she asked. "A is for apple," cried Zoe Zebra, and she pointed to her apple on the desk. "Well done, Zoe," cried Madame Gazelle. "What about B?" "B is for banana," shouted Pedro, looking at his banana. "Very good," smiled Madame Gazelle. "Now, what about C?" she asked. There was silence, and then Peppa said, "C is for cold. I wish we had some walls to keep us a bit warmer. It may snow soon." Everyone laughed, and then Madame Gazelle said, "Well, you're all in luck, children. We're having a special new school built tonight as it's getting colder. Off you go, and I'll see you in the morning." Everyone was excited about the new school. Zoe and Pedro even forgot to take their apple and banana with them. Luckily, George came to the rescue. That night, the construction of the new school began. First, the floor, then the back wall. The windows, the roof, Madame Gazelle's blackboard and her table, the desks and the seesaw for outside. Last of all, the stickers were put in place to make the new school look bright and cheerful. The next day, Madame Gazelle was the first to see the new school. She loved it. Peppa and her friends soon arrived. "Wow," they all said, "this is awesome." "But, Madame Gazelle," asked Peppa, "where are the chairs?" "Don't worry," answered Madame Gazelle. "Thomas is bringing them and should be here soon." Thomas was indeed on his way. "I can hear him," shouted Pedro excitedly. Thomas arrived with the chairs. The chairs were soon put in place. Thomas then left. "Can we go outside and play on the new seesaw?" asked George hopefully. "Not yet," replied Madame Gazelle. "You need to practice your numbers first." She put a sum on the board. 3 plus 2 equals 5, shouted Peppa. "Well done," smiled Madame Gazelle. 4 plus 3 equals 7, shouted Pedro. "Yes, that's right," answered Madame Gazelle. 8 minus 5 equals, she continued. 3, cried Zoe. "Well done, Zoe." "George, what's 3 minus 2? George had to think hard. 1, he asked. "Well done, George," said Madame Gazelle, pleased. Just then, Peppa spotted something out of the window. It's been snowing, and we were so warm and cosy inside we didn't even notice. "Can we go out and play?" asked Pedro. "Yes, of course. You've all done so well this morning," agreed Madame Gazelle. So they all went outside to play, and this time they didn't mind the cold. Thanks for watching our video which featured the new Peppa Pig school construction set. It's great for stories, and we like the bright colourful pieces that are easy to put together. Meanwhile, here's another video you may have missed. "Good morning, everybody," shouted Peppa. It was another school day with their teacher, Madame Gazelle. Peppa loved school. they were waiting for their friends Zoe and Pedro, who they went to school with. When they arrived, Mummy Pig said goodbye and they started their short walk to school. On the other side of town, at the Ponyville schoolhouse, the teacher, Cheerily, was preparing her classroom for the day's lessons. But today was going to be very different from a usual day. Peppa and her friends arrived at the school, but it was closed. Miss Rabbit then appeared and told the children that their teacher, Madame Gazelle, wasn't feeling very well, and today they were going to be taught at the Ponyville schoolhouse by Cheerily. Miss Rabbit then gave all the children an apple to take with them. She heard that Cheerily liked apples. James arrived to take Peppa, her friends and their apples on the journey across town. Arrived, they said hello to Cheerily and then went to sit down. They all gave Cheerily an apple, except George, who said that he was sorry, but he'd lost his apple. Actually, George ate it as they were getting off the train. He'd felt hungry. Cheerily began her lesson. After a while, it was time for a break, and they went straight to the slide and swing, although they were all a little bit too big for the swing, except George. Cheerily had a lovely meal of apples. Break over, and they sat down again for more lessons. Then school had finished. They all thanked Cheerily for teaching them, and George confessed that he hadn't lost his apple. He'd actually felt quite hungry and eaten it. "Don't worry," said Cheerily, "I had 3 apples and I feel quite full." James left for the trip across town and dropped them off at the playground by Peppa's house. They'd all had a great day, but wanted a quick play before returning to their homes. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up and make sure you've subscribed to see our new videos first. Then click any of these clips to see more. See you soon!